On NewsHour tonight, RAPs reconsider bill to strip VP, governors and deputies of immunity. President Tinubu hosts Ghana's John Mahama in Abuja. Kaduna residents struggle as erratic power supply hits hard. Away from Nigeria, South Sudan opposition declares peace deal dead after VP's arrest. Good evening and welcome to Trust News Hour. I am Chiamaka Nwafo. A bill seeking to amend the 1999 Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria to establish the office of the Prime Minister as head of government and the President as head of state has passed its second reading in the House of Representatives. It is one of 31 constitutional amendment bills that advanced to the second reading stage during Thursday's plenary session, presided over by Deputy Speaker Benjamin Kalu. The report.
Among the proposed amendments is a bill seeking to allocate a specific number of seats for women in the National Assembly and State Houses of Assembly. Another bill aims to shorten the duration for resolving pre-election petition cases by establishing pre-election tribunals and regulating the suspension of National Assembly members from legislative duties. There is also a bill seeking to revise the eligibility criteria for candidates contesting for the offices of President, Vice President, Governor, and Deputy Governor. The total number of constitutional amendment bills that have successfully passed second reading now stands at 113.
Please, clerk, give us a long title.
A bill for an act to alter the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999 to reduce the lengthy period of determination of pre-election petition matters and provide for the establishment of pre-election tribunals and pre-election matters and regulate the process of suspending a member of the National Assembly from legislative duties and for related matters. Second reading.
Meanwhile, the House of Representatives has reversed its decision on advancing two bills aimed at reviewing the death penalty law and removing immunity for Vice President, governors, and deputy governors. The resolution was announced during Thursday's plenary session by House Leader Julius Ihonvere. Both bills had passed the second reading on Wednesday as part of 42 proposed legislations considered during the session.
Capital punishment as well as immunity. It's something that we have to debate later on in more detailed form. And I thank you for your understanding, the sponsors of the bill. They also understood that for now, we'll keep it until we debate later on in a more thorough, comprehensive form. Thank you.
A bill for an act to alter the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999 as amended to qualify the immunity conferred on the President, remove the immunity conferred on the Vice President, the governors and their deputies, in order to curb corruption, eradicate impunity, and enhance accountability in public office and for related matters, HB 1664.
In another development, the House has resolved to investigate allegations of abuse of tax incentives, breaks and waivers by both public institutions and beneficiary companies. The decision is coming after a motion of public importance by Oluwole Oke from Osun State. Oke noted that while tax incentives are meant to stimulate economic activities, they have led to significant revenue losses due to abuse.
Observes that these gaps have negatively affected the tax to GDP ratio of Nigeria, which stands at 10.6%. Being one of the lowest in Africa, the gap created, Mr. Speaker, in the revenue profile of the government of the Federation has also contributed to the federal government seeking loans, grants, and aids to fund our budget deficit.
The House has since adjourned plenary to the 29th of April 2025.
The South-East Caucus in the Senate has called on President Bola Tinubu to immortalize the achievements in lifetime of the chairman of the defunct National Electoral Commission (NEC), late Professor Humphrey Nwosu. The appeal followed the failed motion raised on Wednesday to immortalize Nwosu, who conducted the annulled June 12, 1992 elections during the military era. The report.
The senator representing Abia South, Eyinaya Baribe, had earlier brought before the Senate a motion with prayers that the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) headquarters be named after the late NEC chairman, and to give late Humphrey Nwosu a national honor by Mr. President, as well as giving him a minute's silence on the floor of the Senate as a sign of honor for him. After a fierce debate, some of the senators were of the opinion that late Professor Nwosu failed to declare the winner of the June 12, 1992 elections in his entire lifetime. Hence, he did not deserve national honor.
If Professor Nwosu had the courage, I emphasize courage as it's been suggested here, to announce the winner and damn the consequences. After all, he who is not ready to die for something will end up dying for nothing. We cannot distort history in this Senate. We must be seen to have sentiments that reflect the average feeling of the average Nigerian. Professor Nwosu, when it mattered most, his courage failed him. So Humphrey Nwosu, with due respect to him, because he's now late, does not deserve to be immortalized as one of the very few Nigerians that have done the right thing.
However, other senators who spoke in favor of the motion maintained that the chairman of the defunct NEC did courageously in conducting the most credible elections in the history of Nigeria. They posited that if the June 12 elections did not hold, even against all odds, there would not be a result to clamor for.
The struggle to revalidate that June 12 presidential election took a huge toll on Nigeria, including loss of lives. But now we have come back as a country to acknowledge that that election was the freest and ever conducted. And the president, Moshood Abiola, who was never returned, has been recognized as the winner of the election by the government of Nigeria.
At the end of the argument, the prayers were put to voice vote by the Deputy Senate President, Barrow Jibril, as the first two prayers were not supported by the majority. A 1-minute silence was also observed to honor the former INEC chairman.
To posthumously honor him with national honors. Those who go say, extend condolences to his family and recognize their sacrifice in support of his move towards a better Nigeria.
After the debate, the Southeast Caucus of the Senate, while addressing journalists, appealed to the president to honor late Professor Humphrey Nwosu, whom they said laid a good foundation for the present democracy. They said their appeal is predicated in their belief that as a Democrat, President Bola Tinubu would grant the Professor of Political Science national honor and name INEC headquarters after late Professor Humphrey Nwosu.
If there was no election, there would have been no June 12. So we can also use this opportunity that we're here addressing you to appeal to the government of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to honor the man who made sure that that election held.
The late INEC chairman will be laid to rest on Saturday, March 27th in his hometown in Anambra State.
Nigerian President Bola Tinubu and Ghanaian John Mahama have met in Abuja to discuss situations in the West African countries of Burkina Faso, Mali and Niger. Meeting at the President's residence at State House Abuja, both presidents reviewed the relations between the countries and the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS. Kehinde Amodu reports.
It is the first visit of the Ghanaian president to Nigeria since his inauguration in January. Apart from appreciation for Nigeria's support, President Mahama is in Abuja to intimate President Tinubu on concerns raised in the course of dialogue with the breakaway states of Burkina Faso, Mali and Niger.
To thank him for the honor done me during my inauguration, but also to brief him on a visit I made to the Sahelian countries, Burkina Faso, Mali and Niger, and to bring him up to date with some of the issues that I discussed with him. As ECOWAS chairman, it's my duty to come and brief him on some of the concerns that were raised there, so that we continue to see how to dialogue with those other countries.
President Tinubu agrees dialogue with the three countries is essential because of the security situation in the Sahel region, because of economic opportunities that abound in those countries.
I feel good that it's here in the first place, and I'm indeed very happy of the effort is made to have a bridge between the AES countries and the ECOWAS. It's not a bad idea for us because of the security situation in the Sahel region and what economic opportunity that we must embark to ensure security of life and properties of our citizens.
Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger formally withdrew from the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, in January, forming a new regional bloc, the Alliance of Sahel States. The countries recently agreed to deploy a joint force of 5,000 soldiers to combat terrorism, establish a regional investment bank, and have also launched a common passport. The two presidents believe the citizens of those countries must be the first beneficiaries of dialogue with ECOWAS. From the presidential villa Abuja, Kehinde Amodu, Trust TV News.
Now, the 15th Emir of Kano, Aminu Ado Bayero, has announced the cancellation of this year's Salah festivities, citing the need to maintain peace and security in the state. Bayero had earlier written to the police to notify them of his intention to hold Durbar, raising concerns about the likelihood of violence since Muhammadu Sanusi, the 16th Emir of Kano, was planning a similar event. However, on Wednesday night, the Emir said the decision was reached to ensure the safety of lives and property, which remains his top priority.
Bisa shugabanci na al'umma da Ubangiji Madaukakin Sarki ya dora.
Following the people's mandate bestowed upon us and our commitment to their protection, we find it necessary to withdraw any arrangements made for Salah celebrations given the current situation. Salah Durbar is not a do-or-die affair for us. If it risks becoming a source of chaos, loss of lives, or destruction of property, then it is best to shelve it. We are calling on all our followers to abide by our decision, which was reached to ensure peace in Kano and the country in general.
The Fage area of Kano State, which was once a hub of tailoring and embroidery, is witnessing a sharp decline in business, especially during the Salah period. Tailors who are lamenting the drastic drop in patronage are calling on the government to intervene through policies that can revive the struggling industry. Trust TV's Abdulaziz Ibrahim reports.
Fage is known for its thriving tailor industry over the years. Today, many small business owners say they are barely making ends meet due to the cost of living crisis that have led to customers cutting down on their spending. Sani Lurwanu, a tailor specializing in female clothing, says the ripple effect of the business downturn is evident in rising social problems.
Right
now, people no longer bring clothes like before because they are primarily bothered about what to eat. During previous Salah celebrations, this place will be filled with clothes to the extent that we found it difficult to contain the influx. Also, this business used to engage many youth, but now it is difficult to keep them. The government should bring back policies that support small businesses which are helping to engage the youth and keeping them away from drugs and thuggery. Aliu Al-Hassan, an embroidery shop owner, has had to switch to solar power due to the high cost and unreliability of electricity. He says this is the only way to keep prices within an affordable range for his customers. Electricity is expensive and we don't get it regularly. I even tried using generators with gas, but that didn't work too. So I switched to solar to manage costs because customers refuse to accept any price increase. The cost of materials is already high, and we can't add more burden on the customers. For Surajo, who sells ready-made embroidery designs, this approach helps to reduce production costs and improve efficiency. However, the bigger challenge is customers' low purchasing power. People now prefer to buy pre-made designs, which are cheaper than the custom designs. But even with this, sales are still slow because people simply don't have enough money to spend. As the tailoring industry in Fagge struggles, many business owners are hopeful that government policies will support small enterprises, stabilize electricity costs, and boost customer purchasing power. They believe that this, in turn, will help tackle some of the social problems bedeviling the state. Abdulaziz Ibrahim, Trust TV News, Kano.
As the Ramadan fast winds down, Muslims in Nigeria have joined other faithfuls around the world to observe the Tahajjud prayer, the night, often referred to as the night of power by Muslim faithful, is believed to come with greater rewards. In this report, Kabir Lawal reports on how Muslims in the FCT come out en masse to observe the prayers. Here's this more in this report.
Laylatul Qadr, the night of power, is the night when Quran was first revealed. It is also the night when angels descend to the earth and destinies are shaped for the year ahead. Worship on this night, according to Allah, is much more rewarding than 83 years of devotion. The Prophet Muhammad, may peace be upon him, urged faithful to seek this night in the last 10 nights of Ramadan, particularly on the odd night of 21st, 23rd, 25th, 27th or 29th. Some FCT residents acknowledge the significance of the night and called on Muslim faithful not to relent in praying to make Nigeria great.
More than 80 years of worship if you are lucky to fall on Laylatul Qadr. So how many people will live up to 80 years? It's more than 83 years and some fractions. So today is a very vital day in life. So if one is lucky to be alive today, you should seek Allah's blessing and favor today. That's why we're here.
Looking forward to the night of majesty. Nobody knows which day it is, but as our own practice, apart from praying fervently in the last 10 days, we also set aside one of the odd number days to seek Allah's guidance.
For many, remaining steadfast during the last 10 days of Ramadan bring faithful closer to God, hence the need for Muslims to emulate the good virtues learned during the holy month.
And especially these last days, Allah said, increase your dua. It's the most precious 10 days of the month.
Laylatul Qadr falls in the last 10 nights of Ramadan, but the exact night is not known. The night is also known as the night of power due to the increased reward and blessings from worship. Kabir Lawal, Trust TV News, Abuja.
On the political matters, supporters of the People's Democratic Party in Lamba Ward of Wazir local government area of Plateau State on Wednesday burned party billboards and palliatives, protesting what they described as meager Ramadan palliatives distributed to their members. The supporters who took to the streets chanting, "We don't want, take the palliative to the chairman," among other slogans, were seen destroying posters, billboards and burning them down on the road. They also burnt the palliative distributed to them by the party. The protesters accused the chairman of the local government area of robbing them of what was meant for party members in the area, threatening to disown the party in the 2027 elections. According to some of the members who were gathered at the party office in the ward, the chairman sent 9 bags of 6 measures of rice and 9 bags of 6 measures of maize to an electoral ward with thousands of party supporters. Residents of Markrefi, Abuja Road and surrounding communities are calling for urgent action to address the crippling effects of erratic power supply. They're appealing to the Kaduna Electric Distribution Company to resolve the persistent outages and upgrade the Rigasa injection substation to cope with the area's rapidly expanding population. Here's more in this report.
The substation, constructed 4 decades ago, was designed for a significantly smaller population, but it now serves Askulaye, Sabongari, Rigasa and numerous other communities, leading to severe strain and frequent power disruptions.
The substation has been designed in 40 years back, and it is designed to cater for 200,000 people. With the population we are having now in Rigasa, more than 1 million, and Askulaye with Sabongari, if you add it up, the population is cumulative, is too high, and the substation cannot cater for the people.
Our challenge is insufficient power supply. Even when we often pay for it, we rarely have electricity. Residents report that this unreliability has stifled economic activities within the region.
Lack of constant power seriously affect people in this area, because people who are doing welder, it's hardly you will see them working because there is no light. People who are doing tailoring, it's hardly you will see them performing their job because there is no light. People who are doing other jobs which they needed this light, all their businesses are being crippled because the light is not there to be found. Because we hardly get 2 hours of light in the 24 hours. We are all load shedding.
We want the authorities to address the challenge. In response, the Kaduna Electricity Distribution Company confirmed that the area is classified under Band E, which mandates a minimum of 4 and a maximum of 6 hours of daily electricity. The company also highlighted an ongoing federal government project to install a 7.5 MVA injector transformer aimed at improving power supply to the affected communities. Bello Musa, Trust TV News, Kaduna.
The livelihoods of hundreds of traders at the Owode Motor Spares Parts Market have been thrown into disarray following the unlawful and violent demolition of more than 500 shops by the Lagos State Building Control Agency last week. The incident, which occurred in the early hours of Thursday, March 6, has sparked widespread outrage, with victims and civil society groups calling on the Lagos State government for justice and urgent intervention. Here's more.
Following the demolition of over 50 shops at the Owode Oniri Motor Spare Parts Market, members of the Center for Human and Socio-Economic Rights, CHSR, alongside affected traders and civil society groups, staged a peaceful protest at the Lagos State House of Assembly. The protest, aimed at demanding accountability and justice, highlighted what participants described as a gross violation of human and economic rights that has left hundreds of families in hardship. Despite the unexpected arrival of military personnel during the demonstrations, protesters remained calm and orderly. According to Alex Omotenshi, President, Center for Human and Socio-Economic Rights, the military commander even offered to assist with delivering the protest letter, and however, the group declined, insisting on due process.
We want to believe that they just call on the military, maybe to come and scare the protesters or what have you, and the brigadier general that led them inquire what are we doing here, and we told him we are here to protest the illegal demolition of over 500 shops at Owode Motor Spare Parts Market. And even he tried that we should submit the letter, that he can assist us to submit the letter, and we said no. So that we're going to be orderly, and we have been orderly, and we have been law abiding. We are waiting for the assembly to come out so that we deliver the letter and the governor.
Speaking during the protest at the Lagos State House of Assembly, one of the affected traders described the market as more than a business center, but an inheritance from their forefathers.
Owode is an international market like Alaba International Market. It's a market that was actually given to us by Jakonde, given to all our parents to make their daily living. And this is the only place where they say iron in Lagos State. And I want this to be clear to the world. It's a Yoruba heritage market.
Yes, this is the only one Yoruba market.
This is only one Yoruba international market.
According to several traders who spoke to Trust Television, the demolition carried out on Thursday, March 6th was sudden and brutal.
Land dropper now own a mobile police and a gun or tear gas before they started shooting us. They beat our president, they beat him to nonsense and some of the people. Some of us are seen in hospital now.
It's already market, only where they sell spare parts. They sell a lot of things, they sell motor parts there. Please, we are begging. We are begging. Most of us borrowed money to start off our business. How do we want to pay the money back? Especially me, I'm talking about. How do you not want to pay the money back? I have nobody.
With emotions running high and livelihoods destroyed, the traders of Owode markets are calling for swift government action, including investigation, compensation to prevent similar incidents in the future. As they await a formal response from the Lagos State government, civil society groups have vowed to continue the fight for justice through protest and, if necessary, the courts.
Still in the southwest, local government administration in Osun State has remained paralyzed as a controversy over the leadership of the third tier of government in the state rages on. Though a faction of the Nigerian Union of Local Government Employees directed local government staffers to resume duty, yet council secretariats across the state are not functional. Hamidu Yegbade files in the report.
Over the past 1 month, local government administration in Osun State has been paralyzed due to controversy over its leadership in the state. Relying on the judgment of the Court of Appeal, the chairman and councillor elected on the platform of All Progressive Congress insisted that they are in charge at the council secretariats, but the state government refused to recognize them. Meanwhile, as directed by Governor Ademola Adeleke, the chairman and councillors elected on the platform of People's Democratic Party are yet to resume duty after their swearing in. For many, the crisis is having negative effect on the generality of the people of the state.
Those that are dragging this kind of problem within themselves in all local governments in our area should please consider the welfare of the people in the local government, that they should allow peace of God to reign.
Appeal Court in Akure gave us our mandate back on the 10th of February. And since 17th of February, we have been here. You know, there was rancor the first day we came. In fact, only God saved a lot of my people here. But since that time, we have been coming to the office on a regular basis.
We are collecting money, and our conscience will tell us that what is the purpose of collecting money without work? So if we resume back to work, I think our conscience will pay all right that we are doing the right thing with the money we are collecting from the state government.
Meanwhile, policemen remain stationed at the local government secretariats to prevent any breakdown of law and order. Amid Oyegbade, reporting for Trust TV News.
SARC staff members of the defunct Heritage Bank have again taken the Nigerian Deposit Insurance Corporation (NDIC) and the Central Bank of Nigeria back to court after the Alternative Dispute Resolution (ADR), which the court referred them to on the 10th of December 2024, failed. Noel Sampson, who was at the court, brings us details of what transpired.
The Nigerian Central Bank announced on June 3rd, 2024, that Heritage Bank's banking license has been revoked, adding that the National Deposit Insurance Corporation (NDIC) was appointed as the bank's liquidator. 9 months after the dissolution of the bank, entitlements belonging to the bank's staffers have not been given to them, while their personal accounts have been frozen. Meanwhile, the matter is yet to be settled since they started going to court as far back as September last year.
What I'm trying in court is just that we came to inform this honorable court that we had explored the settlement as at the last adjourned date on the 10th of December 2025. The court had, ordered that we should explore settlement, the alternative dispute resolution. However, the defendants had frustrated the process and we are back to court. So we came to court today, and of course there are some processes and some other actions that will be taken, but of course we're coming out fully for hearing. The case is fully blown for trial. So of course the case was adjourned to 15th of May. 15th of May 2025.
Some of the sacked staffers decry the length of time the case has remained unsettled and the suffering it has subjected them to.
I'm not happy about it. It's draining, it's time consuming, it's frustrating, long and short. It's so frustrating. I don't know how I've been coping, but God has just been helping me. It's been tough, really tough. You have money, but you can't access your funds. Every day you keep asking people for help, and this is something that most of us, for me personally, I'm not used to. And then I just have to start begging, please help me with this, help me with that. I find it difficult, but I don't know, God is helping me. And then trying to get something else to do, it's tough. It's been tough.
They are hopeful that the court will ensure that justice is served when hearing starts properly. Well, Samson, Trust TV News, Abuja.
You're on to News Hour on Trust TV. After the break, public transport sector see declining demand as drivers adjust. More when we return. Please stay with us. Welcome back. Thank you for staying with us. Now a recap of our top stories. Reps reconsider bill to strip VP, governors and deputies of immunity. We also informed you that the President, Tinubu, hosted Ghana's John Mahama in Abuja. To other stories, members of the Lakurawa terrorist group on Tuesday killed 2 customs officers and a local at Bachaka border area of Argungu local government area of Kebbi State. The latest attack on uniform and civilians on that axis came barely 24 hours after the combined security forces neutralized 2 Lakurawa members last week. The public relations officer, the Kebbi State Police Command, Nephew Abubakar, who confirmed the attack, said he was yet to identify which of the customs units the slain officers belonged to. He further said the Commissioner of Police, Sani Bello, has paid an on-the-spot visit to the scene of the incident and warned that forces will not be intimidated by attacks. He said the attacks are evidence that members of the terror group are being weakened by the sustained onslaught to completely decimate them. Still in security matters, troops of Sector 7 under Operation Safe Haven, a security task force maintaining peace and harmony in Plateau and some parts of Kaduna State, have arrested the suspected killers of a Reverend Father, Sylvester Okechukwu. According to the operation, Reverend Okechukwu was murdered after he was kidnapped in Tachira village in Kaura local government area of Kaduna State. Adomusa completes the report.
The suspects, Pateyau and Douglas Henry, were paraded on Thursday at the headquarters of Operation Safe Haven in Jos. According to the spokesperson of the operation, Major Samson Zakom, the suspects were arrested on March 25, 2025 after a raid on the hideout of the suspects, located at Ruga settlement in Warsa PT village in Lere local government area of Kaduna State.
Troops of Sector 7 Operation Safe Haven have arrested killers of a Reverend Father, Sylvester Okechukwu, murdered after he was kidnapped in Tachira village in Kaura local government area of Kaduna State. The suspects were arrested on the 25th of March 2025 following a raid on the prime suspect's hideout located at Ruga settlement in Wasa PT village in Lere local government area of Kaduna State. During preliminary investigation, the prime suspect, Pateyau, 33 years old, confessed to have been contracted by one Douglas Henry living in the same house with the slain priest to kidnap him. Troops in a follow-up operation arrested Douglas Henry at Angwa, Seriki, Tachira in Kaura local government of the state. The arrested suspects are in custody undergoing further interrogation.
Reacting on their arrest, the suspect confessed that they took part in the crime because they were desperate to get money.
It's a temptation. I don't expect it. When the thing happened, now I'm regretting what I did. Seriously. I'm looking for money. That is why. Yes. Don't ask them to kill. I said I need the money. If they catch him, I need the money, not to kill him. They told me that they killed him. I said, why is it that they did that? It's not what I asked them to do. It's not what I asked them to do, and they now kill him. Why did they do that? And what I did not expect to happen is what they did.
Wallahi da waɗancan ɗin sun tafi da shi. To wallahi ni na tambaye su me.
I was contracted alongside others to kidnap the victim for an undisclosed reward. After kidnapping the victim and taking him to our den, I was promised my share of the money. I discussed with Douglas about the money, but I was not giving up to this moment.
Sun ce wannan da yayi magana da su harkan kuɗi ne. Yawa ni man da na tambaye su ina so in ji daga bakin su.
While appreciating the general public for supporting troops with credible information about crimes, the operation further said it is committed to the peace and well-being of law-abiding citizens within its area of operation. Ado Musa, Trust TV News, Jos.
Governor Armando Fintiri of Adamawa State has appealed to the Inspector General of Police Kayode Egbetokun to establish police institutions in Adamawa like other states in the Northeast region. The governor discloses during a courtesy call by the police boss who is in the state for an official engagement. Governor Fintiri asked for the police mobile base and counter-terrorism center in Madagali local government area to boost the fight against Boko Haram insurgency. He also assured that his administration will continue to support the police to fight crime and protect lives and property in line with global best practices. The Inspector General of Police Kayode Egbetokun explained that the visit was to thank the governor, his government and the people of Adamawa State for their full support to the police.
I'm here today, Your Excellency, for two reasons. One is to extend our heartfelt gratitude to you, your government, and the people for the support that we are getting from you, and to appeal, secondly, to appeal to you that the partnership that has been existing between your government, the people, and law enforcement agencies in this state should not just continue, but can be taken to the next level.
I want to assure you that this collaboration will continue and will strengthen it more than before. We'll continue to give support, both logistically and financially, for the police and other security agencies to operate and continue to create peace within the state and the country at large. That you are here, I will not stop asking. It is my responsibility on behalf of my people to continue to ask, to continue to see that our security architecture is fully strengthened, particularly the police mobile base. We can have a collaboration with the state government to have more revitalize the infrastructure and make it a police college.
As the holy month of Ramadan nears its end, businesses across the country are feeling its impact in different ways. While some sectors experience a surge in demand, others witnessed a slowdown as workers and customers adjust their routines to accommodate the fasting. From Gombe, Hassan Kohli reports.
The impact of Ramadan fast on businesses is evident across various sectors. While the food industry is seeing a significant boost in sales, transportation and other labor-intensive services are adjusting to the new working conditions. Markets are bustling with customers buying fresh vegetables, ice blocks, and ready-to-eat foods, especially in the house leading up to iftar, with vendors saying sales have doubled as families prepare to break their fast. On the other hand, transportation services have slowed down. Many drivers and commuters are avoiding traveling during the hottest part of the day, leading to a noticeable decline in business for commercial transport operators. We reduced our trips because the heat is intense and most passengers stay indoors until the evening, so we avoid coming out early to save fuel and avoid it. We get to work during the late evening hours when people are going back home for iftar. I work within the house of 6 to 10 a.m. when people are going to their respective workplaces. After that, I rest until around 2 p.m. when they are about to go back home. That is our strategy for this Ramadan. Mechanics and transport workers have also adapted their schedules, with many now starting work early in the morning and taking long breaks in the afternoon before resuming in the evening. We open early to fix motorcycles before the sun gets too hot, then rest until later in the day when it's easier to work. However, sometimes we must fix some under the sun, even as the number of customers has decreased significantly. While some businesses slow down, others are thriving. The economic shift during Ramadan highlight how different industries adjust to seasonal changes in demand and working conditions. Hassan Koli, Trust TV News, Gombe.
From the northeast, we go to the northwest, where the governor of Jigawa State, Umaru Namadi, has hosted journalists across the state for Ramadan Iftar at the government house in Dutse. The event was aimed at strengthening the relationship between the state government and the media. Here's more.
Governor Namadi at the meeting expressed gratitude to the journalists for their support and pledged to continue working closely with them to ensure the success of his administration. He acknowledged the vital role of the media in promoting government policies and programs to the people, emphasizing the importance of transparency and accountability. The media and this government work together in serving the people. If they notice something wrong, they bring it to our attention. If things are going well, they encourage us to continue. Because of the relationship and trust between us, we decided to invite them to this fast-breaking event and use this opportunity to thank them for their efforts. We hope Allah will reward them. Speaking on behalf of the media representatives, Muhammad Zangina Kura reaffirmed their commitments to promoting the achievements of the Jigawa State government. He commended Governor Namadi for his inclusive approach to governance and assured him of the media's continued support in highlighting government initiatives that contribute to the development of the state. The Jigawa State government has executed several developmental projects, especially in the agricultural sector. Even the Minister of Agriculture testified to this during his visit to the states. He stated that Jigawa State is contributing to the nation's food security. Governor Namadi also offered prayers for lasting peace and economic development in Jigawa State and Nigeria at large, urging citizens to continue upholding the values of unity and cooperation. The Iftar gathering served as a platform to foster understanding and cooperation between the governments and the media, reinforcing the administration's commitment to the openness and progress in Jigawa State.
Over in Zamfara State, the leadership of the Nigerian Labour Congress NLC and the Trade Union Congress TUC has given a 2-week ultimatum to the state government to address the issues of the 70,000 naira minimum wage and reinstatement of some workers who they claimed had been removed unlawfully from the state payroll. The chairman of the NLC, Sani Halilu, and his TUC counterpart, Saidu Moody, gave the 2-week ultimatum while briefing newsmen on the commencement of the implementation of the 70,000 naira minimum wage. The report.
According to the labor unions, the state government did not use the table they gave them and insisted that if they failed to act properly, the state would face an industrial action. Prior to this time, Zamfara state workers did not enjoy the 18,000 naira national minimum wage initiated and implemented during the President Goodluck Jonathan regime and the 30,000 minimum wage by President Muhammad Buhari. This is because the previous administrations at the time did not implement, but Governor Dauda Lawal's administration increased the salaries from 7,000 naira to 30,000 naira. It also promised that it will implement the 70,000 minimum wage in March 2025 after the completion of staff verification. The Dauda Lawal's administration has made good on its promise by starting the implementation of the 70,000 naira minimum wage. However, the organized labor said the state government failed to use the table of the 12 structures it had handed down to them and believes some people are sabotaging the government.
Those people that were removed from salary unconstitutional, they should be called and did the needful. After all, the present economic hardship was higher than to bear. What of if someone was just seized with his daily earnings? And then we feel it is very necessary from the SAC in session that public should be addressed.
The state chairman of the Trade Union Congress of Nigeria, Saidu Moody, called on Governor Dauda Lawal to constitute a committee to investigate those who are sabotaging the government within 2 weeks, or they will down tools.
In fact, I could remember the leadership of the NLC TUC insisted that, of course, we are representing the entire workforce, but we want this technical committee to approve the invitation of the various affiliate unions to come so that we display each table, a table of each structure for the unions to see for themselves. If they have any observations, if there are some gray areas that need to be addressed, let us raise that observation so that we correct it. And that was also done. We have about 12 structures. And some of us here are living witnesses. We have invited these labor unions one after the other, and we have displayed that.
The organized labor said they have confidence in the leadership of Governor Dauda Lawal and believe that they are individuals behind the act. They added that Governor Lawal is not aware of what is happening in the implementation of the 70,000 minimum wage.
The Rivers State chapter of the Nigerian Labour Congress NLC has emphasized that workers remain apolitical and should not be made to suffer the consequences of the ongoing political crisis in the state. In a communique issued after its State Executive Council meeting on Thursday in Port Harcourt, the NLC called for the immediate implementation of the 70,000 naira minimum wage at the local government level in the state. The union also demanded the payment of both outstanding and current salaries owed to local government workers. Addressing journalists after the meeting, NLC State Chairman Alex Awanwo reaffirmed the Congress's stance, aligning with the positions of the organized labor, the NLC and the Trade Union Congress TUC, in strongly opposing the declaration of a state of emergency in Rivers State. The union further urged state government to sustain the early payment of public workers' salaries and wages while advocating for a transparent and peaceful reconciliation process to resolve the ongoing political crisis in the state. On the business scene, the landing cost of imported premium motor spirit increased to 885 naira per litre on Wednesday from 797 naira. The major energy marketers Association of Nigeria disclosed the rise in its daily energy bulletin released on Wednesday. This represents an 88 naira increase from the 797 naira per litre landing cost of petrol last week. The implication is that the price of imported petrol at Nigerian filling stations may increase to about 1,000 naira per litre from between 940 naira and 917 naira. The current landing cost of petrol is 797 naira compared to the ex-depot price of Dangote Refinery's petrol, which stood at 815 naira per litre. To this end, Dangote petrol is sold at a retail price in MRS filling stations at 816 naira and 880 naira per litre in Lagos and Abuja. Still in business, Nigeria's money supply recorded its first decline in 2025, falling to 110.32 trillion naira in February, 110.94 trillion naira in January. Data from the Central Bank of Nigeria has shown the 0.56% month-on-month drop comes amid continued efforts by the Apex Bank to manage liquidity in the system, following earlier signals of monetary tightening and foreign exchange adjustments. Despite the marginal slowdown, the figure remains significantly higher compared to the same period last year. In February 2024, money supply stood at 95.56 trillion naira, indicating a year-on-year increase of 15.45%. The increase in money supply, which includes both net foreign assets and net domestic assets, provides a broader view of the country's monetary dynamics. The slight contraction in February reflects developments across both foreign reserves and domestic credit. On the foreign scene, South Sudan's opposition on Thursday said the arrest of first Vice President Riek Machar, the longtime rival to President Salva Kiir, has invalidated their 2018 peace deal and risks plunging the country back into war. A convoy of 20 heavily armed vehicles entered Machar's residence in the capital Juba late on Wednesday and arrested him. According to a statement issued by a member of his party, a dramatic escalation of a conflict that has been building for weeks in the world's youngest country. A power-sharing deal between Kiir and Machar has been gradually unraveling, threatening a return of the civil war that killed around 400,000 people between 2013 and 2018. Juba was calm early on Thursday, with businesses open and people on the streets, according to reports, but there was a heavy military presence around Machar's home, which is located just meters from the president's home, including a tank. The population is deeply worried about what might come next, civil society leader Edmond Yakani revealed. 6 people died on Thursday, 2 of them minors, when a tourist submarine carrying dozens of Russian visitors sank off Egypt's Red Sea coast near a major resort town. Egyptian state media put the total as 6, while Russian state news agencies quoted General Consul Viktor Voropev as saying that 5 people were confirmed dead, 2 of them minors. Russia's consulate in the tourist hub of Hurghada earlier said the vessel was carrying 45 tourists, including minors, on an underwater excursion to observe coral reefs when it crashed 1 kilometer from the shore. The website of state-owned Akhbar al-Yum newspaper gave the toll of 6 dead and said 29 people were rescued, 9 of them wounded. Russian state news agency RIA Novosti, quoting an Egyptian emergency services source, reported the death of 5 foreigners and 1 Egyptian. May the soul rest in peace. In a rare show of public anger, hundreds of Palestinians took to the streets of northern Gaza on Wednesday, demanding an end to the conflict and calling on Hamas to step down. Videos shared on social media showed mostly men chanting, "Out, Hamas, out." The protest comes a day after similar demonstrations against the militant group. It still rules the enclave 17 months into its devastating war with Israel, which has reduced much of the enclave into rubble and caused untold misery for its residents. Earlier this month, Israel halted deliveries of food, fuel, medicine and humanitarian aid to Gaza's roughly 2 million Palestinians. Their anger appears to have resurfaced after Israel resumed its military campaign in Gaza following a nearly 2-month. It's time for Sports Update with Adeniyi Ajishafe.
Africa's top table tennis players Quadri Haruna from Nigeria and Omar Assar from Egypt have been listed among the top seeds for the 2025 WTT Star Contender, Chennai. The prestigious tournament, with a prize pool of $275,000, has attracted elite players around the world, including world number 3 Tomokazu Harimoto of Japan and Brazil's world number 5 Hugo Cadrano. Harimoto and Cadrano are the top 2 seeds in the men's singles, followed by Denmark Jonathan Groth as the 3rd seed. Haruna, the highest-ranked African player, is the 4th seed, while Assar closely behind as 5th. Haruna and Assar have received byes to the 2nd round, last 32 in the men's singles, where they will begin their campaigns to claim a significant share of the prize money. Quadri, a late replacement for Germany's Dmitry Ocharov, aims to improve on his 2nd round finish in 2024 with another strong performance in India. The Jawaharlal Nehru Indoor Stadium will host the tournament for the 5 days, featuring top table tennis players. And in football, FIFA has announced a staggering $9.55 million participation fee for each of the 4 African teams ahead of the maiden FIFA Club World Cup set for 14th June to 13th July 2025 in the United States of America. The 4 African teams, namely Al Ahly of Egypt, Esperance of Tunisia, Mamelodi Sundowns of South Africa, and Wydad Athletic Club of Morocco, will earn same as the participating club from Asian Football Confederation (AFC) and Confederation of North, Central American and Caribbean Association Football (CONCACAF). In line with the budgetary principles for FIFA Club World Cup, FIFA has confirmed the distribution model for its new club competition that include $1 billion prize money for the 32 participating clubs. That's Sport News. I'm Adeni Ashishafe.
That concludes News Hour tonight on Trust TV. For more of our news, programs, documentaries, to follow us on our social media platforms and on our YouTube live stream. I am Chiamaka Nwafo. I'm of the news production team. Thank you for joining us tonight. Good night.